Okay, so Samsung recently launched the S25 Ultra, and after unboxing it, getting it set up, and using it for the past week, I'm starting to feel like we have now reached peak phone hardware at this point. Let me explain. The first thing you'll notice when unboxing the phone is that we aren't getting anything extremely new. The packaging remains the same with minimal to no extra included accessories. We slowly removed from the headphones to the power bricks, and soon we'll be losing the power cables too. And the biggest change to the S25 Ultra's design was the removal of the sharp corners that we had with the S24 Ultra. So now the Ultra phones look like a larger S25 with a slight change to the curve degree roundness, bringing the top 3 phones in the US market to all look the exact same, all thanks to the iPhone 12. Samsung is probably the biggest competition to the iPhone actually has when it comes to bringing the best phone out to the market, and they are slowly copying each other, unintentionally making the same phone. From the titanium design to having software features that are very similar to one another, you can't say that they aren't at the very least glancing over at each other's homework. But is that truly a bad thing? For us US consumers, I actually don't think so. If it wasn't for Apple, Samsung would have never tried to even include log video or raw photos in their phones. Well, maybe not never, but let's assume never. And to me, Samsung hardware always sounds so much better on paper than the actual end product. And this S25 Ultra comes equipped with one front-facing camera and 4 cameras in the back that boast some pretty large megapixel counts that you're getting, so you can achieve that 100x zoom. But even though the pixel count is 4 times the amount that you get coming from an iPhone, I just don't see 4 times the result coming out as the end product. Here are some sample photos in the studio for both of these phones, along also the Pixel phone that has long been the best phone in mobile phone photography. Let me know in the comments which one of these was your favorite, and if you are also enjoying the video, make sure that you guys leave a like. It always helps this channel a lot more than you may think. Okay, so even though the photography power from the Pixel is still unmatched to me, it definitely does lose the race when it comes to video. I posted a YouTube short a few weeks back with a native video from the iPhone and the Pixel, and the Pixel just completely missed the mark. But with the Samsung S25 Ultra, it does bring it back to Android, and it even now has a log feature, which was something that was exclusive to the iPhones if you wanted that shooting mode. And I'll have to say that Samsung does make it a little bit more seamless or easier to use when it comes to everyone else that isn't really a tech enthusiast. You can now shoot log from the native camera app just like you would with an iPhone, but they also included pro shooting modes in the native camera app, which isn't available on iPhone. For the past few months, I had to use a third-party app on the iPhone, the Blackmagic camera app, if I wanted to get the same level of control that I can natively get from the Samsung one. With the S25 Ultra, you can also now edit the log video straight in the gallery app without the need of having to download an extra app or move the log video over to a desktop. I will say that even though it's a really cool feature for me and other content creators alike, I just don't see necessarily how log is going to be a great feature for everyone else. The files are really large, and having to add the extra step of color grading and editing every single video is just not something that I can see for people outside of being content creators. And regardless of how great log and raw are, I still see myself going back to the native shooting mode anyway. And here's where I still can't say that Samsung excels that much above iPhone. So even with the best hardware, its photos aren't as great as the Pixel, and the videos fall slightly behind the iPhone. And it doesn't mean that it's bad by any means, but it's just not up to par with the other phones out there. You do still get the same Samsung look and feel for both videos and photos, so you still get that if you're a Samsung fan. Where the S25 Ultra does excel is going to be in the performance that it gains from having all of the best hardware packed into this phone. Having the customized Snapdragon 8 Elite has really boosted the user experience and brought it back to the top of the bracket. The speed of the animations still feel as fast and snappy as ever, and you still get that 120Hz display. You do have to make sure that the default resolution for the phone is up to the highest possible, because the default that it comes with is in the medium settings, so make sure you go into settings and change that up. One UI 7 is also a welcome change if you've been looking forward to even more customization than you had before, and there's a lot of similarities now with iOS, like the Now bar feature that closely resembles live activities. You also have a notification center now that closely resembles a control center, and they look very similar as well with the customizability. There's also now an adaptive charging mode on One UI 7, which is honestly a great feature for those that do keep their phone for longer than a year. The battery can degrade easily if you don't take care of it, so being able to limit how the phone charges and how much battery percentage you can have does extend the lifespan of the phone. Unfortunately, with all these new features, Samsung does fall a little bit short of Apple, which is something that I never thought I would say for customization. The customization in the control center is currently lagging on the Samsung, with only being able to move blocks and not really being able to add any more controls. The brightness adjustments is also different, which doesn't necessarily mean it's worse, but from a user experience, it's worse on the Samsung. If you want to adjust the brightness in the middle of the night, but want to make really fine adjustments, you just can't. Once you click the brightness bar, it's going to place the brightness exactly where you clicked it. And if you don't know what it feels like to have your sleep ruined with what feels like the brightness of the sun, let me just tell you that it does make you want to throw your phone across the room. So why do I even still use and continue to buy Samsung? Well, for all of the other features that it offers. Features that are highly useful, like having more customization options for the home screen and all of the widgets that are within the same native phone launcher. Good Luck has added so many features to its customization that makes it worth going with Samsung over any other Android out there. You can also connect this easily to macOS, which is my main editing computer, via Smart Switch without the need to really download any third-party AirDrop clone or really any other apps. Samsung DeX is also a noticeable feature that I don't really use regularly enough, but it's always useful in a pinch. You can also use it to upload and post to mobile apps if you're someone that is also a content creator and you don't want to use a desktop app or there just simply isn't one. There's also new features with One UI 7 like Morning Brief that really does have a lot of potential of being my favorite app on the Samsung. I've talked about before of the morning report that does come on Garmin and all the metrics that you get in the morning, and that would be really cool to see in the Samsung Morning Brief. If you are in the Samsung ecosystem, you already do get some of those metrics, not as many as Garmin, but you do get some. So it would be really cool to see the Morning Brief extend this to third-party apps and third-party developers so that maybe my Garmin morning report can be seen in the Morning Brief. Gemini is another notable feature that is now included with the S25 Ultra. It's free for now, so for now you can definitely enjoy talking to it in a normal language and also combining multiple tasks at once. I'm glad that Samsung has kind of abandoned Bixby at this point in favor of its partnership with Google, because this sends the phone to the better alternative if you are someone that uses the assistant feature a lot. But Samsung has unfortunately botched a few improvements and also cut some features out that honestly should have been improved on instead, with the main one that affects me being the screen brightness and that the battery isn't really that far improved above the S24 Ultra. As someone that uses the screen on full brightness most of the day, the battery gets really low towards the end of the night. And it's not like a huge downgrade. I'm still ending the night with somewhere around 30% on medium usage days, but it's something that you almost come to expect to increase rather than stay the same year over year. What makes it even worse is that they did cut out a feature that was actually useful, with the S Pen now losing the Bluetooth functionality on the S25 Ultra. I personally never really used the Bluetooth functionality all that much, but for $1,300, taking a feature out of a phone is honestly not a great look. It's almost like taking out the headphone jack or the power brick from the box or the headphones in the box. And if that showed us anything, is that no matter how much losing out on a feature sucks, we still end up buying the product. And the S25 Ultra is still Samsung's flagship Ultra phone that has all of the features that you can want from a phone and offers the best of the best hardware. But there really isn't anything new in terms of hardware itself. You have the same titanium build, the same battery, the same cameras, and the same price. So is it really worth over the S24 Ultra? No, if you think you're getting something that's going to be completely life-changing, but if you always want to have the best of the best hardware that's out there, there really is no competition to the S25 Ultra. But is it worth over the 16 Pro Max? I have a video coming up comparing those two, so make sure that you guys subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching this video. Click here to watch another one of my videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.